It's a bit of a hot one today. A little bit of drizzle actually too. We're in the Miami Design District, one of the hottest spots in Miami. Today we're here for a real estate industry update, redefining online copyrights. So specifically we're talking about Zillow.com owing $2 million to VHT Studios for copyright infringement. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, High Court, agrees with the lower court's decision that Zillow's usage of VHT's real estate property photos constitutes copyright infringement. In a recent legal battle that has reverberated through the real estate and digital realms, the court case of VHT Inc. versus Zillow Group Inc. has unveiled significant insights into copyright protection and its intersection with the online landscape. At the heart of the matter are the use of 28,000 allegedly copyrighted photos on Zillow's platforms, including its main property showcase and also a home improvement section known as Zillow Digs, D-I-G-S. I don't think it exists anymore, but it once did. The question is, did Zillow exceed the allowed licensed usage of these photos? Is Zillow liable for punitive and statutory damages? Are they violating VHT's media asset copyrights? Generally speaking, the legal issues here at hand are copyrights. Number one, we're talking about photos, media, ownership. Now, second, we're talking about user-generated content, media produced by individuals, users like you and me. Also, fair use. What constitutes fair use, the fair use doctrine versus commercial use? So, what's at stake here?
Beyond its immediate context, this ruling carries ramifications for various online platforms. This case exemplifies the growing struggle between protecting creators' rights while still nurturing a commercial digital ecosystem's growth. Platforms will now need to reevaluate their strategies to prevent infringement while upholding user-driven creativity. We all know that Zillow.com is one of the largest real estate websites out there right now. Definitely a household name. Zillow.com, everyone knows Zillow.com. Launched in 2006 by two former Microsoft employees, Zillow now boasts to having the largest database of properties with a corresponding popular app. And they compete with the likes of Realtor.com, Trulia.com, Redfin.com, Apartments.com, FSBO.com, which is for sale by owner.com, and foreclosure.com. So big name, Zillow.com, right? But, okay, who exactly is VHT Inc.? Well, I'm glad you asked. Known as VHT Studios, with annual revenues of $20 million, they are one of the largest photography and image management services companies in the United States. VHT photographs properties for marketing purposes for the real estate industry, brokerages, and listing services such as the MLS, etc., etc. Shout out to CEO Brian Baldoff for keeping the headquarters in Rosemont, Illinois, which is near my hometown of Chicago, after the ownership did move to California. And one of the reasons why I'm covering this industry story is because it involves a Chicago-based or once Chicago-owned industry giant or industry media giant. And I like to keep up with the Illinois real estate specific news, as I am also licensed to perform my realtor services in Illinois also. Now let's get deeper into this legal battle. VHT Inc. versus Zillow Group Inc. Zillow argued that if their use of the photos, of VHT's photos, that were user-generated did not comply under fair use doctrine, which is a legal doctrine that promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyright-protected works in certain circumstances, then they should be liable for statutory damages for infringing on one work only, which would then be a singular $750,000 to maybe $30,000 fine in total, not a fine in the millions of dollars, because right now we're talking about millions of dollars here. The Ninth Circuit Court agreed with Zillow that VHT failed to provide evidence showing that Zillow exercised control, selected any material for upload, download, transmission, or storage, or instigated any copying, storage, or distribution of the photos because they were user-generated. The court also held that VHT did not present substantial evidence that Zillow, through the Diggs platform, directly infringed its copyrights in 22,109 not displayed photos and 2,093 displayed but not searchable photos. However, the fair use defense did not absolve Zillow of direct liability for 3,921 displayed searchable Diggs photos. As a result, the appeals court agreed with VHT that Zillow did infringe on these 2,700 photos that had independent economic value, and that was not considered part of the one work or compilation, right? A group argument. Consequently, VHT was awarded statutory damages for those 2,700 infringements only. If you do the math, it turns out to be $750 per photo infringed, right? $2 million. Okay, it's time for a little math and case history. Let's rewind a bit here to get the full story. We need to look at the entire case history. The original case actually goes back to July 2015 when VHT first won their lawsuit in the U.S. District Court in Seattle, and in 2017 when a jury also sided with VHT and awarded them approximately $80,000 in actual damages and $8.2 million in statutory damages. The same court later reduced that amount to $4 million. Now fast forward to July 2023. Now the final verdict says Zillow now owes $2 million to VHT in damages. So we went from a really big number there, 8 million plus, down to 2 million over a bunch of years here. So it's always all about the numbers. Let's dig a little deeper into the numbers. Remember we said that VHT, their annual revenues recently, was $20 million. Now you divide that by 2 million, that's 10%. $2 million is 10% of their annual revenues. So that's a significant amount. Now, Zillow.com, on the other hand, if you didn't know, is, just for easy math, a $2 billion company annually. A little bit less than $2 billion, but just for easy math, $2 billion. Now, 2 million out of 2 billion is less than 1%. If you do the math, less than 1%. So that's less than a slap on the wrist, right? $2 million for a $2 billion company. I mean, I don't know what their actual finances are, where the money's going and all that, but I mean, $2 million for a $2 billion company is less than 1% of their annual revenue. So we're not talking about money here. We're talking about the principles and the copyright issues, right? So let's get into the key takeaways. Be careful of using photos, videos, multimedia that are not explicitly yours, that you did not receive permission to use, or that you did not create yourself. Or you may be leaving yourself open to these types of copyright issues and penalties. Key takeaway number 2, it's about acknowledging the immense value of proper multimedia in the growing online world that most of us are a part of. So here we are arguing about photos. They obviously have multi-layered value, these still photos. Number 3, the importance of having the ability to produce your own multimedia. Pretty self-explanatory here on this final takeaway. Be able to produce your own multimedia. Nowadays, with the technology, a Samsung, an iPhone, I mean, they're going to suffice. You don't need to get one of those Sony mirrorless or those amazing old school Canon, Nikon, and whatever else is out there, right? You don't need to go all that. I mean, I've seen people build empires on some pretty janky phones. So key analysis. This case underscores the complex relationship between copyright holders and online platforms. It's a wake-up call for content sharing platforms who are responsible to diligently address intellectual property concerns while fostering user-generated content. This case actually delves into the issue at the granular level of copyright registration and copyright timelines. The court acknowledged the evolving nature of online copyright law, which is copyright law, and considered VHT's inability to promptly register their images and due to recent legal precedences as detrimental to their case. Basically, VHT was not on point with their copyright game there. However, they did get a favorable ruling ultimately. So in essence, the VHT Inc. versus Zillow Group Inc. verdict signifies a turning point for copyright enforcement in the digital age. It echoes that the online world can't be a free-for-all forever. Rather, it demands accountability and respect for intellectual property rights. And as someone with a marketing and graphic arts background, I am all for that, of course. So as we navigate the ever-evolving landscape of digital innovation, especially now with AI and all this case's legacy will resonate. It reaffirms that balance, respect for creators, and safeguarding digital asset integrity are essential for a sustainable and equitable digital future. Thank you. Join us once again for more information on the real estate industry.